Good morning. My name is Joey Lopes, and you are about to listen to Lopes on Movies. Every week, myself and a rotating panel of co-hosts will talk about the latest in film and entertainment, including reviews of the latest movies, news, and much more. Thank you so much for listening. And now, here's a clip from today's movie of choice.
We missed out. We didn't party because we wanted to focus on school and get into good colleges. And it worked. We are not one-dimensional. We are smart and fun. Woo!
Excuse me. Oh.
We have to go to a party tonight.
What?
What took them 4 years, we are doing in 1 day!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Lopes on Movies, WVUD's brand new movie review show. Kyle, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. That's
it?
all I got.
You're just doing great. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not doing so great.
No.
I had kind of a bad last couple of days. You can maybe hear it in my voice. I had the dreaded spring cold. You know?
I hate those.
Yeah,
They come when you least expect it.
They do, and I was actually kind of worried for a minute there because I was like, oh man, am I going to get better in time to see a movie and actually do this show? But, thankfully, looks like everything worked out.
And you saw Aladdin.
I did not see Aladdin, and I will not see Aladdin. Okay, before we start the show, I just want to get into a couple of little housekeeping things. So, if you want to catch the backlog of every episode of this show that we do, that is available online now. It's on YouTube. The channel is just called Lopes on Movies, so if you search that, you should be able to find it. You can also follow us on Twitter. We have a Twitter that hopefully we're going to not forget about and actually use. That is at Lopes on Movies. And finally, last little bit here. Please feel free to reach out to us anytime. So you can email us at lopesonmovies@gmail.com, or you can just send us stuff on Twitter, whatever. Point is, we want your feedback, and we want you to call us out for having bad opinions on movies.
We want that hate mail.
Yeah, we want the hate mail. And who knows, maybe if your grievances are interesting enough, we'll put you on the show to defend your case. You make us look stupid. It'll be awesome for everybody. So, yeah, by all means, reach out. We would love to have you on the show if it turns out to be a good idea.
It might end terribly, but you never know.
You never know. All right, so let's get down to the movie that we saw. Not Aladdin, like everybody else seemed to see, but me and Kyle saw the movie Booksmart. Brief synopsis of the movie. On the eve of their high school graduation, two academic superstars and best friends realize they should have worked less and played more. Determined not to fall short of their peers, the girls try to cram 4 years of fun into one night. So the movie stars Caitlin Dever as Amy and Beanie Feldstein as Molly. And it has a huge supporting cast, so many bit players in this. So you got Jason Sudeikis, you got Lisa Kudrow, you got Billy Lord, you got Jessica Williams, so many people. It is the directorial debut of the actress Olivia Wilde, who you might remember from a whole lot of things. I think the first thing I saw her in way back in the day was House, the TV show House. Do you remember her in that?
How could I forget?
What was her character's name? Do you remember? It seems like a stupid thing that you would remember. Geez.
Well, okay, this is not the House cast, but I seem to remember he called them all certain things, certain qualities of them, and he just
you're
referred
right.
to them as
Yeah,
that.
he didn't call them by their names.
But I still have no idea what it was.
I get bonus points if I act like I care.
Please, somebody send us some mail.
Yeah, that should be the first email we get. Yeah, we want to know who she played.
Okay. But anyway, she's been an actress for a while, does tons of movies, a lot of independent movies lately, especially. And this is the first movie that she herself has directed. So, it's a, little independent movie. It's going toe-to-toe with Aladdin at the box office, which,
tough fight.
Fighting the Disney Corporation is a fight you're probably going to lose. And it has been losing. But I think both me and Kyle will be here to make the case that this is one you should probably go see if you're looking to watch a movie.
Yes.
Over the next couple weekends. Tell me what you thought about Booksmart.
I liked this movie.
No way.
Bold statement, I think it's better than Aladdin. And I don't even have to see Aladdin to think that.
Ooh, that is a bold statement. I hope you're prepared to back that up when the Aladdin fans start getting on their case.
Oh, they're already writing their mean messages right now. I can feel it. But yes, I thought this was a very good movie. Brought me back to a lot of my other favorite high school movies like Superbad and such. I think, okay, I will say I think the movie is very formulaic in places. I think that's maybe, I mean, we won't go super into it now, but I think that's one of my only problems with it. But other than that, I thought it was funny. I thought both lead actresses did a great job, and it was very entertaining, and had a lot of fun moments in it.
A lot of good laughs, a lot of goofs and gags. You know?
Sometimes goof and gags are bad, but I liked these goof and gags.
Yeah, I mean, a movie like this kind of it rides or dies on the cast and how well they play off each other, and I think there's a lot of characters in this. Like, a whole lot of characters, and they keep
coming back.
Yeah,
they never
every
stay
one of
away.
them sort of has like a unique identity in a way, and they're all done very well. They don't feel like they're the same. They all feel very unique, and they play off each other well. So if there's anything,
they're a bunch of stereotypes, but they're entertaining stereotypes.
Absolutely. So yeah, like you mentioned, you mentioned Superbad. I think a lot of people have been comparing this to Superbad.
Yeah, this has been widely considered like the female Superbad. I've seen that a lot.
Yeah. And obviously the surface level things are pretty obvious. It's a movie that takes place over one night with two lead characters trying to party,
and they get a bunch of wacky hijinks in between
around high school graduation. Like it's very, very similar setup, but I actually think the movies are pretty different in how they approach that period of your life, right?
Yes.
So like you said, you mentioned Superbad. This follows in the tradition of a lot of those kind of high school like time period coming of age stories. Olivia Wilde, in an interview, she mentioned like a lot of the movies she grew up with and really resonated with her, like things like The Breakfast Club, Dazed and Confused, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Clueless. Like, so you can tell that she's trying to follow in their footsteps and do something very similar. And that's immediately obvious to anybody that will start watching this.
Yeah.
So to me, like while I was watching, I thought it kind of merges the sort of raunchy and irreverent attitude of Superbad with the kind of heightened emotions and kind of unreality of a John Hughes movie. Yeah. If that makes sense. And so it has a little bit of both. The structure is really kind of loose. It doesn't really have a lot of stakes. There's not a lot of tension in it, but there's nothing inherently wrong with that. And I think that just the strength of the cast and the amusing situations is enough to kind of propel your interest in watching it.
Yes.
But I think that the most interesting thing about the movie to me is how optimistic it is about this period of transition.
Yes.
The basic premise of the movie, right? So you have these two girls who spent their entire high school careers studying and not having any fun. They wouldn't go out on the weekends. They wouldn't party, and so they don't really get along with any of the other students who they kind of see as kind of just dumb, dimpled people
that's made very apparent in like the first 20 minutes.
Right. So they have these preconceived notions about who their classmates are.
Yes.
So of course, because they were overachievers, they get into, great colleges. They get into Yale, Columbia, these great colleges. But then they find out that pretty much all of their graduating class got into similar colleges.
Yes.
So like one kid's going to Stanford, one kid isn't even going to college because he already got recruited by Google. Right. So this completely tears down their world where they were like, oh my God, we just studied and did all this stuff in school, and we didn't care about having a social life. It was just us two when we could have done both. We didn't need to choose, right? So they decide like, oh man, we gotta have fun on our last night before graduation in order to make up for not doing that for the entire time. So that's kind of a ridiculous premise, obviously. Like I don't think that you gotta suspend your disbelief a little bit to believe
two teens trying to have a great time on the last night of college.
It's basically their entire graduating class is going to like Yale. Like, okay, sure. If that's what it takes to buy into the premise of this, then whatever. You'll go along with it.
Whatever it takes.
Basically, what that does is it makes the movie kind of about these two girls realizing that their preconceived notions of their classmates were wrong, and it turns out that pretty much everyone is cool. Like everyone's a pretty chill person.
Yes.
If you just get to know them, right?
That's the whatever you call it. Like that's the moral of the story.
Right. So it has a very big like don't judge a book by its cover kind of.
Very much. So.
I don't know if it's a message, but it's definitely what you'll get out of this, which to me was very surprising, if only because a lot of the movies that this is sort of following in the footsteps of don't do that at all.
No, not really.
Like we mentioned Superbad, right? Superbad is a movie that's very, very skeptical of the party culture of high school, and it kind of treats the characters' journeys as almost kind of pathetic. That they're going, like in that movie, the premise is I think they're just trying to get booze to bring to a party, right?
And they all suck. It's just,
right. So it's just
good.
a miserable experience the whole way through, and then the party sucks for them as well.
Yes.
So it just kind of goes to show, or at least there's this undercurrent of melancholy to it, where you're not really supposed to be rooting for this ridiculously vapid pursuit that they're going for.
Yes.
It's very critical of that, their whole mission. So that's really interesting. I think there's a lot, like most of the movies that I've seen that kind of are in this graduating from high school time frame have that sort of almost subversive edge to it, where you're not just, it's not rose tinted glasses. It's very like clear about what this is like. So a couple other examples, like Dazed and Confused, the Richard Linklater movie. That's a similar one to this, in that it also takes place over one night. It's like right before graduation. And one of the key lines in that movie, like the main character Pink says, "If I ever start referring to
these as the best years of my life, remind me to kill myself."
Right.
That was not said at the end of this movie.
Right. That's the kind of high school movie I'm used to. I'm used to there being a lot more like skepticism,
a lot
this
more
entire,
negativity. You're not supposed to think
like,
this is great.
And even if it's not that like overt, there's usually like even like John Hughes movies, like The Breakfast Club. There's some very like candid conversations they have in that movie where, because all like in The Breakfast Club, all the main characters come from a different clique, right? In this movie, you're not going to see like you can maybe pick out the cliques, but at the end of the day, it seems like everybody's pretty cool with each other. Like there's no sense of like tension between social groups or anything. It's just once you're in that place and partying, like just be yourself and then everybody will get along.
Yeah, no one cares if you're a geek or a jock, whatever. If you're here,
as long as you're here and
family.
having fun, and you get to know, if you just get to know us, then you'll see that there are different shades to us. That there's this isn't, no character in this movie is out and out unsympathetic. They go out of their way to make sure everybody at the end of the movie is someone that you can root for or appreciate or understand.
It's not what I was expecting.
So for me, that's kind of, it's not something that I'm used to seeing. I'm used to seeing more of this kind of critical eye on high school and graduation and remembering your old days. Because usually it's older people making the movies. It's older like writers that are kind of remembering those days, and they take a critical eye on it. And you get a bit more nuance in the portrayals, and you have some characters that are unsympathetic. And one thing that I think was kind of funny, right before I saw this, I watched the movie 8th Grade that came out last year or whatever. Remember when we tried to see that movie and got shut out, which was horrible. Finally, like many months later, I had actually got to see it.
I still want to see that. I never actually got around to it.
So that's a movie that's about 8th grade graduation, obviously moving into high school, but there's you get some glances at what that movie thinks about the high school age people as well. But oh my god, that movie is like harrowing. Like it's that's like the scariest movie I've ever seen.
It doesn't look very happy.
So that one's like really honest about a lot of the struggles that I feel like young people face, and this one posits that as long as you get outside your comfort zone and be yourself and attend parties and be cool, everyone will like you and everything will be fine.
No one cares.
Right. So I don't know if I dislike that or like that, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, at the very least, it's a unique take on all this.
Yeah, I think that was my initial thought. It's refreshing to see a movie that pretty much just looks at high school and the party culture surrounding high school with entirely like nostalgic and positive, like a positive lens. Because I definitely don't see that very often. But on the other hand, it does make this feel maybe a little bit more disposable. And I don't mean that in like a super negative way, but I don't know if there's as much to take away from it when it kind of takes the easy route and says like, all of these characters that you thought were jerks are actually cool. You just have to get to know them. And I don't think life is really that simple.
No,
I think that
I don't think
some
it is
people
either.
are just jerks, you know. But maybe it is. Maybe I'm just being, cynical. And
Maybe we're the problems, Joey.
yeah, maybe we are the problem. I don't know. So yeah, for me, like, and again, like one of my absolute favorite high school movies is Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Me
right?
too.
I love that movie. And that's another movie that also isn't very, like, biting or critical either. I still think there's a little bit of an undercurrent of, like, uncertainty there that's maybe not here in this.
Yeah.
But, again, like, that one's also very low stakes. So maybe I'm just overthinking this one, and I shouldn't be that overly critical, if that makes sense.
There's not really a Cameron in this movie.
Yeah,
no one's
right.
really a sad sack or anything like that.
When Cameron was in Egypt's land, let my Cameron go.
Yeah, I feel like, if anything, the emotional beats in this one, they don't really ring as, like, false, but they are very easily, like, kind of swept up and resolved, if nothing else. Like, there are parts of, like, Ferris Bueller or just, like, other, like, high school movies that there aren't, like, super easy answers to, and some of the very dramatic moments remain very dramatic, and it doesn't just undercut that, like, a couple scenes later and, like, everything's fine, right?
Yeah.
In this one, there's a couple of, like, really dramatic scenes where characters get, like, angry at each other, but it doesn't feel like any of that lasts past that scene.
Yeah,
like, the
not
characters
really.
don't feel like they change dramatically. It's more just that they now they're aware that, oh, everyone in my high school is awesome, and we're all friends now.
Yeah.
So it's a very optimistic take, and if you're looking for something that's gonna make you feel a little bit better about your high school days, I don't think you can go wrong with this one.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
Something one of the more maybe not even uplifting, but just one of the better looks at high school life, which in a lot of time is awful.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think back on obviously, like, we all had good times and we all had bad times, but it's the bad times that,
they stand out.
And maybe it's just because I'm watching too many high school movies that, that aren't looking back at high school with the most most reverence.
That probably doesn't help.
I mean, what's another one? Heathers. In Heathers, they everybody's awful, and the one character tries to blow up the school at the end. Like, that's what I think about when I think about high school.
When I think back to high school, that's what I remember.
Yeah, that's what I remember. So, maybe this is what we need. This is for our dark times. We need a high school movie that it makes us think of things a little bit more lightly.
Thank you, Olivia Wilde. Thank you.
So I think it's pretty much like the gist of my thoughts on Booksmart. I would say that there's a lot of heart put into it. It's clear that everybody involved in this production was super passionate about it, and shows. So I mean, I highly recommend it. Yeah, definitely go see it while you have the chance. I mean, I know Aladdin is very tempting. Will Smith is the genie.
It might be in multiple theaters, but it doesn't mean it's better.
Yeah, so you have a choice, everybody. You have a choice between Will Smith as the genie or a really heartfelt and well done coming-of-age story by people that really, really cared. So, not to make you feel bad if you choose Aladdin, but that's where I'm going.
When you do, just remember what we said.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. So now that we're back from the break, we are going to do something a little bit different. Connor, welcome back to the show.
Hey, guys, how you doing? How was Booksmart?
It was good. I think we both liked it. We wish
good.
you could have seen it with us. It's kind of a shame that you were in the woods this weekend.
I was in the woods. I'm finally back in society. Yeah.
All right. Well, Connor, what do you got for us?
Okay, so on theme, sort of, with Booksmart, which I didn't see, we have 3 coming-of-age movie trivia questions that if you guys can get correct, there's going to be a huge, great prize.
Oh, so we're playing against each other.
No. I mean, I think you could just work together.
Oh, work together on this.
If you guys
if
you guys can just get them all correct, it's a huge prize.
Wow,
nice.
That's exciting. Well,
okay.
All right, let's get this started. Kyle, are you ready?
Okay.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, let's
Okay.
go. Movie trivia.
All right, movie trivia. All right, cue the music, please. Okay. All right, this'll do. Okay. Question number 1. All right, question 1. Who starred in the 2016 coming-of-age comedy The Edge of 17?
Oh, I know this one.
Oh, I
assume
know it too.
You're just saying like the lead actress, right?
Yep. Yeah,
The
she
lead-
played
Oh,
it.
I was gonna say Woody Harrelson.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
not. Okay. Is that your final answer, Woody Harrelson?
No.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
The correct answer, and Kyle, I mean, you stop me if this is wrong. I believe we're going with Haley Steinfeld.
Kyle.
I will back that up, seeing as I do not know.
Haley Steinfeld, final answer.
That is correct. Haley Steinfeld is right, guys. You're 1 for 1.
All right, this is
Nice.
crazy. All right, let's keep it going.
1 for 1. Did you guys like The Edge of 17? That was
Yeah.
the last. Yeah, I think that was.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
was
that
a
was
good
a good one. That one honestly felt more in the style of like a John Hughes movie than Booksmart did.
It was
Yes.
far more
Booksmart was kind of-
depressing.
Yeah, I guess. But Booksmart kind of blended genres a little bit. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Very
Well,
different
you
movies.
you brought it up, so next question. It's kind of like what last thing you just said. What was the first movie directed by legendary coming-of-age movie director and writer John Hughes?
Oh,
The first movie.
Interesting.
He directed a handful, a good amount. He wrote a million of them, but he directed, I think, about 8. And
Interesting.
if
That's it.
Yeah, he didn't direct that many. So my question, here's the tough one. So I think I might know the answer, but
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
sure if this is like a gotcha question, where like he directed some garbage movie when he was like 18 that got like a release in like two theaters in New York or something. So that this could throw me off.
right.
But Kyle, I'm gonna say 16 Candles is the first John Hughes movie. That's what my gut's telling me.
It's either that or The Breakfast Club.
I'm
But-
fairly certain that 16 Candles predates The Breakfast Club.
You know what,
So-
Joey? I'll trust you on this one.
All right, Connor,
Again.
I'm just gonna go with this. My final answer is 16 Candles.
16 Candles. That is your final answer.
That is my final answer.
Okay, so the movie was directed and released. Well, I guess it came out in 1984, and that is correct. It is 16 Candles.
Woo, baby! This is great. We're doing incredible.
I can't. I'm shocked that you guys are
I'm
doing
amazed.
this well. Yeah,
I can't believe how well I'm doing.
yeah. That is something wild. All right, so that's. Let's see. This is something interesting. So he directed so many movies right back to back to back, and
Yeah,
they were
pretty much all of his like classics
hits.
came from
Yeah.
a very short time period.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1984 was 16 Candles, and then in 1985 he had Weird Science and The Breakfast Club,
Mhm.
Oh,
and
that's
then
close.
1986 was Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah,
So
so
it
like,
just-
pretty much like all of his like major classics were in that very short time frame. And then he went
Yeah.
on to do great movies like Baby's Day Out.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
His best.
yeah, his career definitely, he made his mark on history, and then he kind of kept going.
Yeah, and then he wrote so many other things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think we need to get a little serious now. We got one more question.
This
Yeah,
is
this is
crazy.
a big one.
I can't believe we've made it to question 3.
Question 3. You guys ready for this?
I'm as ready as I can be, Connor.
Okay. What was the first Tom Cruise box office hit?
The first Tom Cruise box office hit.
I mean, based on the theme, is it Risky Business?
So I'm going to go ahead, Kyle, and say that Risky Business is a good guess.
Yeah.
I can't think of very many other big Tom Cruise vehicles prior to Risky Business. Not to mention, Risky Business fits the theme. It's sort of a
Exactly.
coming-of-age movie, kind of, although that movie is like... It's very strange. You know, I watched it like not recently, but I remember when I first watched it, I was kind of taken aback by how like.
You mean
dark.
the prostitution
stuff? Yeah, it's very dark, you know?
Yeah, how he starts a prostitution ring in his parents' house when they're on vacation or something.
It's like, wow, like that's crazy. That's a crazy idea. So yeah.
I know, I didn't grow up that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kyle, I think you're right with this one. I think we're going to have to say final answer, Connor. Risky Business.
Okay, Risky Business, final answer?
Yes.
Final answer.
Wow. You guys, 3 for 3. Got them all.
Oh, yeah. Man, Kyle.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. This is insane. I cannot believe that we did this. This feels like the greatest moment of my life.
Yeah, it's going to get a little worse, though, because I actually wasn't expecting you guys to get all 3 correct, and I'm sorry to say that there is no prize.
Well, I mean, the real prize is the memories we made along the way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not.
It's the journey.
I want my $12.50 back.
Well.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I guess we did it.
Yeah, thanks for playing, guys. I think that was fun. Right.
We'll have to do this again sometime, hopefully with
Play
some better
the
prizes.
triumphant music.
Yeah.
Well, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this installment of Lopes on Movies. Next week, we are going to be coming at you possibly with a double feature.
Oh, baby.
Because we already teased that we're going to have to see Ma. Mm-hmm. But we also realized that the new Godzilla King of the Monsters movie is coming out next week. And, I mean, I'm like I could go either way on seeing that one. I like the other Godzilla movie they made like a couple of years ago. But, I mean, I think we might be seeing both. So you might be getting a double review next week. So
Joey, can I just ask,
of course.
why the you said, so we already said that we gotta see Ma, but you said it in a way that was not like excited. I'm trying to understand. Did you just get the emphasis wrong on the way you said those words, or?
I mean, I'm excited, but not looking forward to it. Does that make sense?
Why?
We'll see you next week.
Enter the cliffhanger.